Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Alive. It's Monday morning. Lots of things to talk about, of course. Anthony Smith, more importantly, final week of training, brother. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah, I'm ready to be done. It's going well, though. I feel good. Not too banged up, not too many bumps and bruises. I'm ready to finish out this week, pack up my apartment, and get home.
You got a little boo-boo on your right eye.
I know it happened Friday. It's like this little, I don't know, it won't go away. It's like just getting worse. It's weird.
People just punching you in the face. How dare they?
I know. I zigged when I should have zagged. I think that's what happened.
Bob when you should have weaved. Rolled when you should have falled.
Speaking of bobs, I'm ready to get back to the bits and bobs.
Yeah. Well, I bet you are. You just got to go to Singapore first.
Yeah, I got to do that quick. Jump over there real quick.
Real quick. So what's the big thing in the weekend? I mean, obviously, with your crazy schedule, did you happen to catch the Anthony Joshua fight at the weekend?
I did, and I missed the boxing match.
Yeah, didn't miss too much. It was a beautiful knockout by Anthony Joshua in round 7. I was my brother's here with his family, so we went out for the day. Well, we just went out for lunch. I sat in the park watching it on the phone. Tentative performance, do you know what I mean? Or you could say methodical, both worked. Took his time, wasn't really doing much. Obviously, his opponent, if you don't know, Robert Helenius, decent boxer, came in, I think it was like 5 days notice. But he's a big dude. So for Joshua...
His original opponent failed in a steroid test, right?
Failed a drug test, which is rampant in boxing. It's crazy. The UFC, MMA, big deal. Yeah. Boxing, just swept under the carpet. 3-month ban, whatever. It's mental.
Normal things in boxing, apparently. I did read that he had a slow start and it wasn't a blockbuster performance early.
Yeah, all right, but you could argue that given his position, given the fact that he's lost a few, in recent time. He won his last one, but before that, 2 losses to Usyk, and then he got knocked out against Ruiz a while ago. Right. Being one of the big names and the faces of heavyweight boxing, he had a lot of pressure. So you could just say he was taking his time looking for the opening, because I'll tell you what, when he connected in round 7, I think it was a jab to the body, woof, over the top with the right hand, and flipping heck, almost swore there. Flippity bit bop. I mean, here we go to the body. Boom.
Oh, yeah, that's nasty.
He was asleep. He was asleep for quite some time. There's Anthony Joshua giving it there. What do you call that?
I don't know. The FU, I suppose.
I don't know what it is.
The Derek Lewis. That's what I'm calling it.
The gesticulation in your facial. So, yeah, he got back to winning ways. Amazing knockout. Good for him. Then, as it relates to mixed martial arts, of course, Conor McGregor was in the building. He was sponsoring Anthony Joshua. As soon as he finishes the fight, runs up to Joshua. Joshua's doing his celebration. He grabs hold of him, starts forcing a pint of beer down his neck. Joshua, obliged, shall we say, took a couple of sips, bless him, and then jumps in the ring. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I did see this.
Straight away, he's like, here, get some of this down your neck. Which, to be fair, I wouldn't complain after one of my fights. No. Then he gets in the ring and he calls out KSI. KSI's there. Well, no, first of all, he was speaking to Gareth A. Davies, British journalist. I've spoken to him a lot. He says he's going to fight Chandler in December. And we're talking about the same stuff. Chandler in December, then Gagey for the BMF, then Nate Diaz. That's all well and good. That's great. I like that. Love to hear it. Love to see him back in the octagon fight, facing, 3 people we want to see him fight. Then he gets in the ring and calls out KSI in a bare-knuckle boxing match, which I didn't quite understand.
No, I don't. He's all over the place. And good for him. He seems to be doing well with the beer and the whiskey. So he's all over the place though. Yeah. He doesn't know what he wants. He wants to do it all. It's not that he doesn't know what he wants to do. He wants to do everything.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate assessment. Hold on. There we go. Headphones in probably caused Brian all kinds of stress because I didn't have the headphones in. You couldn't hear me back, could you?
No, I didn't hear any feedback. We're good.
And they're not even working. Forget it. Right. All right. So, yeah, McGregor calling out KSI. Look, listen, I think it was more a case of he sees KSI in the building. He knows he's a big name. He's got a massive following. Talk a bit of crap. I think that's all it was, because it's quite a drop-off, isn't it? To go from calling out Chandler, Gagey, Nate Diaz, to then saying, I want to box KSI in bare knuckle. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think he's really serious about that.
No, I don't think. I think he's just hyping up his moment, and KSI is the biggest name in the building probably at the time. So it's just, that's the quickest person to talk to.
Well, he certainly ain't going to call out Anthony Joshua.
No, he's not.
He's not going to do that. He's like, hold on. Where's someone I can pick on? There we go. All right. Anyway, enough of that. Should we talk about some real fights?
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Elon Musk. There we go. Real fights. Mega important fights. That's not happening. Don't worry. We're not going to break that down.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not going
to
get
happening.
Into it. How devastated are you that Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg will not be throwing down, Anthony?
I'm actually a little bit disappointed, if I'm being honest.
Oh, really?
A little bit. Yeah. I want to see it. I just want to see
the spectacle.
I want to see the spectacle. I want to, I always tell myself I'm going to go to these big events. Like, I was going to go to Wilder Fury, and then I was going to go to, before that I was going to go to McGregor Mayweather. And I just, when it comes down to actually going, I just never pull the trigger and just do it, because I always got something else I could be doing that's more, I don't know, I could be getting something done that needs done. But that was one I'd probably go to.
Elon Musk tweeted about an hour ago.
Okay.
That I'll pop it up if it doesn't show up there. But they're going to do a Tesla full self-drive test in Palo Alto, and they're going to drive by Zuck's house. And if he answers, the fight is on.
I got to say, that's genius marketing. It really is. That's a way of incorporating the launch of the Tesla into the fight. Yeah, it's smart. It's smart. Good for him.
I do want a Tesla. I know I say that all the time. I really want a Tesla.
I don't. Rebecca has.
Don't you have one? Yeah, you guys got one, right?
Rebecca has. I hate it.
Really?
I hate the thing. Don't get me wrong. It drives well, very fast. It's very green and economical. But that's an issue. I couldn't drive that to Vegas and back unless I went and found a charging station. But more. It overcomplicates everything. Like, you're not supposed to use your phone right whilst you're driving. And in fact, I got pulled. I got pulled for doing just that on Saturday by a cop.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Adam, my brother's following me with his family. I'm driving along. We stopped at a stop sign. There was like 3 cars in front of me, so we weren't moving. And I just quickly looked at my maps on my phone for a quick second. And then, whoop, guy got me. Oh, God. The cop treated me like he was like getting a serial killer. Do you know what I mean? He thought he had his big.
We got him.
Yeah, he's like, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, because I was on my phone. He's like, yeah, that's right. Do you know it's illegal in the state of California? I'm giving it my best. I'm giving more British. I'm like, hello, mate. All right. Oh, sorry. Didn't realize. And then I wanted to say I didn't. I felt like going, calm down, buddy. Calm. There's no crime of the century here. I'm not moving. I was literally not moving at a stop sign.
Calm down.
Anyway, quick find there. But what was I talking about? What was the relevance? Oh, the Teslas. So you're not supposed to look at your phone. The problem is with Rebecca's, I don't drive it very often. But when I do, I want to smash the thing up because it has the massive interface in the middle, which is essentially a phone. And anything you do, you have to push multiple buttons, like the air conditioning. That's the main one that drives me crazy. Like a normal car, you got your fans and you go, you turn it all the way. That's a lot. Turn it a little. There's a little. And then you can pinpoint the direction. On that, you've got to push loads of buttons to get to that. Then you've got to look at it. You got to, yeah. So
you're just not paying attention all the time.
I'm not feeling the Tesla vibe, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, I couldn't get it anyways because they're not big enough for my gaggle of kids, so it doesn't matter.
No. But the real fights that happened at the weekend was, of course, Rafael dos Anjos versus Vincente Luque. Did you check the fights out?
I did watch the fights. I did.
Well done to Vincente Luque. Rafael dos Anjos was insistent on the takedown throughout the entirety of the fight. And I think if he abandoned that game plan and believed in his striking, he would have had more success. Luque was dominant with the wrestling. I think he hit most of his takedowns, 5 or 6 along the way, maybe even 7. Good fight, though, entertaining fight. Nice to see Dos Anjos still hanging with a top guy like Vincente Luque, even though he'd lost his last couple. As we talked about, big respect to Rafael Dos Anjos, but what were your general thoughts on the fight?
I thought it was a really, really good fight. It was high level as far as like the position. They were so well matched. And you know, I was really impressed with Luque's ability to not only defend the takedown, but like attack submissions. If he did get taken down, he got back to his feet fairly easily. I thought it was just really high level chess. I thought they were really, really competitive. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was hard to even like really score it as they were going because I was just so into the position changes. And I think you're right. If RDA would have abandoned the takedowns, and because anytime he was pressing forward with his punches, he was landing and he was doing well. I think he would have been a lot more successful. Yeah.
But listen, well done to Luque. Got to give it to him. Co-main event, Cub Swanson versus Hakeem Dawodu. That was a fun fight.
Yeah,
Cub Swanson,
it was.
I mean, Killer Cub, great guy, great fighter, amazing career. Do you know? I mean, listen, we can break down the fight. If you saw it, you saw it. Cub was his usual explosive self. Dawodu had very, very good kickboxing. There was some nice technique on display. Cub surprised him with a takedown at the end of round 3. It was a very close fight. One of those you could have gone kind of either way. And you got to admire what kind of man Cub Swanson is, because at the end, he's clapping hands as if to say he was celebrating Hakeem Dawodu because he was about to get named as the victor.
Yeah.
And then they gave it to Cub. And he was kind of surprised and even said, yeah. He said, I mean, I'll have to watch it back. But I felt in my mind at that moment that I'd lost the fight. And as I said, that's very refreshing and extremely honest of Cub Swanson.
Yeah, I thought Dawodu probably won at first. But like when I watched it back again, there's a good chance that I think 2 of the judges gave him the first round. So I don't know if I would have given him the first round there. He did land the only real significant hard strike in the round with that. It was like a double or triple jab, right hand or whatever. Thought the second round he could have possibly maybe stolen at the end of it. But I wasn't sure, but I don't know. I probably just like snap reaction was to give it to Dawodu, but looking back on it again, it was really close. It kind of, I can make a case for both guys. You're right there, Mike?
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. I'm just putting my headphones in. I kind of lost you for a second.
No, you're
Pushed it in too far. I
hate when that happens.
I always do it, man. Push it in too far.
That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what we're referring to, Brian. You know what I mean? You're going to take it down to elementary level. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we have Brian's Conspiracy Corner coming on us later. Brian, what will you be treating us to?
Well, I'm going to be talking about how and why the Titanic was sunk.
Pretty sure it hit a massive iceberg. I thought
allegedly.
I thought the conspiracy would have been the Maui fires. Have you seen the conspiracies going on?
I have, and I've been trying to one of my neighbors brought it up, and it just because there's so many people displaced and terrible things happen to them. I haven't even I didn't really want to entertain it because I don't know. You feel like you need a little bit more time to pass between it before you. I mean, it's still doing damage. You know what I mean?
No, it's bloody awful. The death toll's up to about 100 now. It's the worst natural fire disaster in U.S. modern history. Yeah, I mean the general consensus is that
are space lasers natural, Mike?
Well, yeah. I saw the footage.
The video looks like a space laser.
It looks like a space laser, but it looks like it was also done on the intro of a video game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the conspiracy is that, the big corporations wanted to take the houses of the people that have lived there for a long time and build these multi-million-dollar hotels, but they wouldn't sell. So they burned them down so that the corporations come in and buy the land because they won't be able to rebuild. And then therefore displacing them all, and the corporations can come in. I'm just going to say this, and maybe you call me, I don't know what you might call me. Call me an idiot, call me a fool, call me naive. There's the word I was looking for. That's pretty evil. Do we really believe we're going to burn alive over 100 people? I mean, come on, guys, please.
It seems a little crazy.
I will say, though, that the government has proven that they are more than willing to kill a bunch of people to get something done. You can't put it past them.
Yeah, it's not a laughing matter. Don't say that with such a big smile on your face, Brian. No, it's bloody awful. I don't believe that happened. But I know nothing about it. I haven't done my homework. I did see the space laser, and it did look like something from an Xbox game. But still, thoughts and prayers. I will say this, though. I see a lot of people complaining, and I don't know if this is accurate or not. Maybe you do, Brian. Obviously, people are complaining about the billions and billions and billions of dollars that are being sent to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And apparently, so far, there hasn't been much sent to Maui.
Well, this morning, I believe Joe Biden put out a statement, or he was asked about it at a press conference, and he just said no comment. So
I know. I saw that.
Wild.
Which I thought was disgusting. Joe Biden was asked about it. He said no comment, and then he smiled. I'm
fucking surprised he's awake.
Well, there's not a lot going on in there.
That man does not know what fucking day it is. You're going to smile? Idea. No comment on the day.
Yeah, no comment. Thank you.
Vote for Joe. I'm like, bro.
I seen a video the other day of him doing it. And this isn't, again, this is not us getting political. I think we're just speaking about the person.
That's all I'm doing.
It's just the person. He had his chin tucked to his chest, eyes closed, talking about like policies with some other president or some from another. He was barely conscious. Like his chin was on his chest, and he was just mumbling along as he's going. That's the president. We let that guy. I wouldn't let that guy watch my kids. You know what? Definitely not my kids, but I wouldn't let him dog sit.
I don't think he's presenting. I don't think he's running anything. He's just a face. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be people behind the scenes that are pulling the strings because he's pretty, as I said, not getting political, just talking about the person. I think he checked out a while ago. Let's be honest.
Weekend at Biden's, like instead of weekend at Bernie's, like people are just walking him around.
They're doing a remake and he's now asleep with a bloody MAGA hat on. Has no idea what's going on. No. Oh, dear. All right, guys, we're going to talk about factor meals really quickly. Look, listen, you want to eat healthy. You want to eat nutritious. You want to eat something that is delicious. Let's be honest. After a long day's work, you want to eat something good for you. That is where factor meals come in, and you can kind of build your own ready-made meals, okay? You can choose from keto, calorie smart, protein plus, vegan or veggie, chef's choice. Then you select how many meals you want per week. And let me tell you, they're delivered right to your doorstep, right? When you've been out working all day, you don't want to come in and have to cook, okay? You don't want to have to meal prep, chop, clean up, all of that stuff. No, what you're going to get from Factor is delicious meals. They're never frozen meals. They are ready in just 2 minutes. All you got to do is heat it up and enjoy, and then go back outside and soak up that summer weather. You can stick to your wellness goals with premium, ready-to-eat meals featuring high-quality ingredients like broccoli, leeks, asparagus. Treat yourself to 34 plus weekly restaurant quality options like bruschetta shrimp risotto, green goddess chicken, grilled steakhouse filet mignon, and as I say, ready in just 2 minutes. And the way they prepare them, it's like they've got the microwave in mind because they are done to perfection. I was very lucky. They sent me a big box of them, and I'm just going to throw it out there. It's better than Rebecca's cooking. They taste absolutely fantastic. You can bring them with you to work. You know, at lunchtime, bring one, stick it in your bag, bring it to work. Looking for calorie conscious options this summer? Try the delicious dietitian approved calorie smart meals with less than 550 calories per serving. They offer delicious flavor-packed options on the menu each week in a variety of lifestyles, as I said, keto, calorie smart, vegan plus, etc., prepared by chefs, approved by dietitians, and each one of the meals is fantastic. Round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons, including breakfast items like delicious apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites, potato bacon and egg breakfast skillets. Or for an easy wellness boost, try refreshing beverage options like cold pressed juices, shakes, and smoothies. I don't know about you, but I am absolutely starving. So this August, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered right to your door, ready to eat in 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Right now, head over to factormeals.com/believe50 and use code believe50 to get a massive 50% off. Look, listen, if you need any kind of inspiration, if you're stuck in a rut eating the same meals, you want to diet down, you don't know much about diet and nutrition, you're not a nutritionist, these will take care of it for you. 550 calories, roughly, less than that per meal. We're going to give you 50% off. Go to factormeals.com/believe50 to get 50% off. Just to go back to the fights real quick. What's his name? Oh, God. Hold on. Khalil Rountree knocked out Chris Daukus.
Monster. God, he is aggressive with his ground and pound. Dude.
He's a tough son of a bitch, man. Just talk a second.
If he puts you on the ground and he starts wailing ground and pound at you, you better watch out. I mean, his Muay Thai is just so clean. The problem with Khalil is that at times he has been just a little bit inconsistent. Now, I'm the last guy in the world to be talking about anyone else's consistency. But just from an analysis standpoint, I think sometimes it depends on how he feels about the opponent. At least, again, Khalil sees this is just how I see it from the outside looking in as an analyst. I'm not trying to say anything negative. It's just dependent on the style or the skill set of the opponent dictates how Khalil fights. I think if Khalil went out there and fought like he fought Daukus every single time he fights, it's a tough guy to beat. He's so explosive. I mean, he's got crazy power. He seems to be, as he's getting older, to get more and more chiseled. Dude, it's the weirdest thing. He's so shredded and just that dude is in shape. He's powerful. He's a handful.
He's only 33 years old, though. Just looked it up there. 4-fight win streak, 3 of which were via knockout. The only one that went to a decision, the split against Dustin Jacoby, who tried to podcast whilst on the golf course, which is never a good. Any future guess, don't be on the golf course. And when you're at home, in front of a computer with a laptop or maybe on your phone, propped up, Wi-Fi, all the rest of it. Otherwise, Jacoby, you had your shot at the big time, bro.
Right, you almost made it.
We were going to bring you an extra 7 followers. You know what I mean? A whole extra 7. Did you see Khalil at the post-fight press conference? He was asked about Sean Strickland because Sean Strickland was talking some nasty stuff about him recently. And he was like, he just pretended he didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's not how I would have done it. Yeah.
No. That was like, who was it? Was it Kamaru Usman? He was talking about Colby. He was like, who?
Yeah.
Who? Was that Kamaru?
I think so, yeah. He wouldn't speak
about
his
Colby?
name. Yeah, I wouldn't speak, which is so weird to me. Like, of course you want to say Colby's name. That guy's going to made you crazy money. I mean, how much money do you think Kamaru made off of Colby in those 2 title fights? It's got to be a lot. It's got to be a shit ton. I talk about Colby any chance I got. And you can see millions between the two of them, like when they're in the octagon, even afterwards, they do sometimes break character and have a little bit of a moment where like they understand they made each other a lot of money.
Yeah. Chris Daukus was on the receiving end of that knockout, sadly. That's 4 knockout losses in a row. I mean, he came to the UFC and he was doing tremendous things. I'm just looking at it here. Knocked out Parker Porter, Rodrigo Nascimento, Alexei Olenek, Shabdul Abdurakhimov. And it was like, whoa, this guy is something special. He's going to do great things. Then he bumps into Derek Lewis, Curtis Blaydes, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and Khalil Rountree Jr. Knocked out.
Yeah.
Only one that made it to round 2 was Curtis Blaydes in the last 4. And let me just give you a quick story about Chris Daukus. It's not a story about Chris Daukus, it's about me putting my foot in it. Did I tell you this? When he fought Jairzinho Rozenstruik, December 10th, UFC 282. I rock up. I get to the T-Mobile Arena and I'm trying to get in, and it takes me a while. I get in, I'm walking through, and I'm backstage, and the fights are happening and I'm invested. I want to know the results. I got there a little bit late because Rebecca, doesn't want to be there too early. And as I'm walking in, I'm hearing on the screens that Jorginho has just knocked out Chris Daukus. And I'm walking, I'm saying to one of the UFC staff, I said, what happened? Did Daukus get knocked out? And as I said that, he was walking right past me. He was walking back to the octagon. And he goes, yeah, Mike. Yeah, I did. And I was like, whoa, mate, I wasn't saying it with any kind of glee. I wasn't happy about it. I was just like, so.
Just trying to figure out what happened?
No, listen, he's just been knocked out. He's walking back. He's pissed off. He's angry. He's upset. Probably, you're probably still a bit kind of shaky. So I was like, no, I wasn't. There was no kind of reaction from me other than shit. I'm sorry he heard me say that because in his mind probably thought so I was happy he was getting knocked out, which isn't the case. But
so he's probably not coming on here.
I don't think so.
I'm probably not going to get him on here.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
I don't think so. I'd like to get him on. UFC 292 going down this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What happened, Harrington? What happened to Cody Garbrandt? Garbrandt got back in the win column last time. Was it Trevin Giles? I think it was Trevin Giles.
No,
Trevin Jones.
it was Trevin Jones. Trevin Jones. Trevin Giles is a welterweight, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the Trevins.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with the name Trevin.
Yeah, so I'm just looking here. All I'm seeing is it was due to an injury. It was not disclosed as far as I know what that injury was. And there's no word yet about whether or not they're going to keep Mario Batista on the card or if they're going to keep it together.
Brian, no, get back on here, Harrington. You weren't dismissed.
Okay.
Hey, look at that for a backdrop. Brian, can we, no offense, Anthony, can we just give a 2-shot or even a 1-shot? Just get rid of me. Look at that.
Yeah.
Put us back on quick, Brian. Don't leave it. The Harrington take him. That is.
We just lost 1,900 fucking listeners right there. They're like, nope, I'm out. It's just Harrington.
No. We need green screens in our life. That looks good, man. That's a good backdrop, Harrington.
I think it looks pretty cool. I'm glad you guys like it.
Give us a non-MMA story. Stop disappearing.
I'm sorry, man.
We're talking.
We're talking to you. You will be dismissed when the time is correct. Listen, right. I've got to say, the non-MMA stories, none of them are floating my boat, right? But give me your best boat floater.
Are you serious? I mean, this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. The air show in Michigan?
I don't want to talk about people dying, but sure, go ahead.
Nobody died. Nobody got injured in this, which makes it a perfect believe you me story. So there was an air show they do yearly. I believe it was called Thunder over Michigan, where they have, they do flyovers. In the last one of the fighter jets had a malfunction. It's still undisclosed what it was, but you can see the video here.
What's happening?
Makes sense. Well, he muted it because it's just wind whipping. But yeah, see here. Watch closely.
Right.
Was that the pilot?
Not yet. You'll see them right there.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd the plane crash?
Wait for it.
We're waiting.
Oh, shit.
Tell me that wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I mean, so you know how much those fighter jets cost, Harrington?
Millions and millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money going up in smoke, right? Yeah, Harrington, let's applaud that.
And you think it's funny?
Military fighter pilots, hundreds of years of training, got into that. Embarrassed, probably fired, had to parachute out of there.
If that was an F-14, it's 38 million.
38 million.
If I hit the lottery, I would buy one.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably.
Nah.
If you won $1 billion, you wouldn't just be, just go fuck off $38 million on a fighter jet.
Yeah, but
what a conversation piece! What a conversation piece in your garage.
I'd have a fighter jet. I would buy one, have it in the garage. Hey, I would be that fighter pilot, although I wouldn't parachute out. I'd be dead on the first flight. I think you got to study for quite some time to be able to fly a fighter jet.
Yeah, I mean, not if you have your own.
I think it's even more important to put the correct time and knowledge in to flying that thing.
That's fair.
But as I say, again, it's not Harrington's fault. It's my fault. We left it last minute, but the conversation's done now. It's dead.
Well, the two pilots were able to.
What's the further conversation, Harrington? What is that? Oh, great parachutes. Seen them before. Now what?
Two pilots ejected out. It did crash into a parking lot where it hit a bunch of parked cars. So I was going to ask, what the hell would you guys do if you show up to a parking lot and your car is now covered in fighter jet?
I mean, I'd be looking for the.
I'd be telling the insurance company and the government that I had $1 million in the trunk.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was thinking of something very expensive that I could say that was in there that is completely irreplaceable, can't be tracked or traced. I've got no receipts for it. It was a family gift. It was an heirloom, and it's gone up in smoke.
Yeah. Now, what are you going to do to rectify this?
Not going to do anything at all. And Harrington, please, that is not good. And they're all like that. They're all of a similar ilk. Okay, it's my fault.
Let's see this.
And it's your fault. Do you want to see the list? All right, let's go through them. A teenager in North Dakota miraculously survived a 100-foot fall at the Grand Canyon. He suffered a broken hand, 9 vertebrae, and a ruptured spleen. Well, he's on death's door.
Well, that sucks.
Well, that sucks for that guy, right?
No.
The high school in Texas went viral over the weekend for facilities that look college or even professional level, and a cafeteria that features Sonic, a Jimmy John's, and other fast food chains. Explain, Harrington. Explain.
Well, I was gonna. All right, come on, man.
Come on, bro.
He said, "Come on, man."
So no, I was. You guys both have children of high school age. I'm wondering if you think this is an appropriate use of taxpayer funds. Getting back into that, to have this high school outfitted like we are building the next United States super team in the Olympics, weightlifting, or MMA.
Oh, that's sweet,
right?
Hell yeah.
Dude, you got a full-on mall food court.
And where is this, a high school?
Yeah, this is a high school in Texas.
Well, that's amazing. That's incredible.
That's awesome. Wow. Of course I'd want my kids to go to that school.
Why do these kids get Hogwarts and I have to go to Flushing High School? It's like a prison.
Well, I don't. My kids are in a pretty nice school district, and I like walking into their school to like go to the events or see the teachers. I go and volunteer at the school all the time. I like going in there, and it's a really nice school. I don't want to go in some bullshit.
No. I mean, go on, Harrington. No, Harrington, please.
I was also going to ask, how would you feel about your kids going to a school where they could get Sonic for lunch every day?
Sonic is in Sonic Burger.
Sonic Burger. Yeah, I mean, they had a Jimmy John's and all that other stuff.
I'll be honest. You're not going to like what I'm going to say. It's probably better than the shit that they regularly serve.
I was gonna say
school
that. When's the last time you had a regular school lunch, Harrington? Because it's I don't even know if it's like TV dinners. I mean,
applesauce.
These kids are active too.
Applesauce is like a main dish, right? If I'm not mistaken. Can we bring up a list, Brian, maybe of the average school lunch? Because, and again, don't listen. I choose to live in America. I pay taxes here, and I will be staying here, and I love this country, and it's truly the land of opportunity. But I was a little shocked when I saw the offerings for the school lunches. It's not a slight on your country, but this was kind of shocking. What we got a daily lunch. We got the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I mean, I know it's an American staple. Cheese sandwich. No, this is fine. Hummus, grab and go. Fresh. Oh,
fruit. This isn't a regular. That's not a regular school. No way.
No, this is BS. Turkey burger. You're full of shit, Brian. You're full of shit. This
must be the menu for that school in Texas.
This is from New York. Schools.newyork.gov. This is what they serve in New York City public schools.
My son or my children, they had the options of, it was all just awful. National School Lunch Program. This is it's bad. There's no nutrition. Yeah, it's awful.
There's not. Kids are active. You can and plus, if you don't give them money, they can't get Sonic anyway. So you can kind of control that. Like at my kids' middle school, they have like these a la carte lines where like if you don't want to do the regular bullshit school lunch, you can go to this like a la carte line and you can get chicken fingers and like a nicer meal. You get a cheeseburger, a chicken sandwich, or whatever. You got to pay for it. You got to pay extra for it or whatever. But I think that'd be sweet if my kids went to that school and had those kind of options, like a Jimmy John's at lunch. That'd be badass.
It would be amazing. What was your like in England, you could choose to be on school dinners, or you can bring in your own stuff, you know. And we got free school dinners because, like, you know, we were a bit, you know, a bit strapped for cash at the time. And the school dinners were amazing. They were really, really good. But I wanted to be on like packed lunches, is what we called them. I wanted a packed lunch because I wanted to sit with my friends. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, no, you get in the free dinners, and the free dinners were fantastic, to be honest. But at school, what was a regular school lunch for you, Anthony?
When I got into high school, I usually left. I guess I have to, full disclosure, I went to alternative school in high school after like my sophomore year.
What does that mean?
So it's for like the bad kids, the ones that like either the ones you can't get to school, or you're late all the time, or you're having just issues in school.
Right.
They'll send you to like a different school where they called it alternative school. So I only had a couple classes at the high school, and I went to school. I didn't have to be there until 10:30 a.m. and I was only there until noon. And then I was done. And then I had one class at the high school in the afternoon, and I was done. So for 2.5 years of high school, that's how I went to school.
That is definitely alternative schooling. That's like no schooling. That's an hour and a half.
And everything was on a computer. So you just went in there for an hour and a half, and you just did your stuff on your computer, and then you just left, and that was it. We could smoke cigarettes like on one of our breaks. Like alternative school was the shit. Like as long as you weren't drinking, we would walk outside with like the teacher and be like it'd be frustrated with something.
Give me a smoke. We're
going outside to smoke cigarettes. So we go outside and smoke for 15 minutes and come back in and finish.
Alternative school sounds amazing.
They were just happy we were there. That's really what it was. It was cool.
Like they were like it's gonna help.
Well, it was a way to get the kids that are gonna drop out anyways. It was like an alternative to dropping out. Like let's try to get these kids through school any way we can and get them to learn something. So it was. I thought the process was perfect. It got me through, and I didn't have to do. I don't think the school system, the whole process fits everybody.
No, it doesn't. The school system clearly doesn't.
Did you read what Brian just wrote in the notes? We had one attached to my high school, and it's where I got all my drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Alternative schooling. Schooling.
Mine was across town too.
But you seem smart, right? You don't seem like an idiot. You're not a moron. You're articulate. You speak well. You're a fantastic analyst. You know, so your grades were good, but you were just a bit of a naughty kid.
Yeah, I just didn't go a lot. I just didn't go to school a lot, and just it wasn't my. I don't think that I'm trying to think of the word, but like the school system, the way that it's done now, doesn't fit everybody's personality. It doesn't fit. I wasn't ever like a sit in each class for an hour and 5 minutes type of person. Like I lose track and get distracted, and so I just I would just not go. It just wasn't my thing.
Well, I mean, it's cliche. You see all kinds of memes and stuff these days talking about it, don't you? Because, they're teaching you all kinds of things at school that you don't necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're going to go off and become a teacher, a scientist, you're going to do something that you require your brain for, and to get into college and all the rest of it. It's great, but also doesn't prepare you for everyday life. Doesn't prepare you for how to pay your taxes, how to get a job, how to apply to a job, how to fit into society as a whole and be a productive member of society. You know what I mean? You're learning Pythagoras theorem. You know what I mean? I've never used that once. I've never needed to.
I haven't used a whole lot of the stuff. Actually, a lot of the like English and writing and stuff, I've used a lot, but not for myself. I used it to write the papers for my wife when she was in nursing school. Like it's the only time I've ever used it is to like to do her homework.
Well, there you go. But you're right. When it comes to an education system, and I'm far from a bloody authority on these matters, but yeah, one size does not fit all. Like Lucas is a smart kid. He's a very, very smart kid. I know he's smart. He's got such a quick wit. He's almost like a genius in some ways. And of course, I'll say that I'm his father, but he's very, very smart. When it comes to academics, not so much. Do you know what I mean? But I've got zero concerns. He does well enough in his grades. He's not straight A's, but he's like B's or whatever. He's all right, but he's not crazy, good or bad. But I know he's smart, but I'm like, don't worry about that stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you get out in the workplace, when you become a man, when you get out into the world, I can tell. I know you're going to be okay. But anyway. No one wants to hear two ex-washed up fight. Well, you're not washed up. I am.
I was like, God damn, Mike.
Yeah, I know. But I said that about myself all the time. He's like, Jesus Christ, Mike, you got that little faith in me? Oh, shit. I've got to. Hold on. I put the whole thing on a tiller, man. Just stay down. I put the whole thing on span. We can split this line, huh?
50-50, man.
50. I bet the house on Ryan Span, bro.
That's fucked up.
Shit.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
Thing. All right, guys, I want to tell you about Kachava, which is one of our newest sponsors. And I am telling you, this supplement, this super blend of superfoods and greens and proteins and everything that you need for your body is amazing. Listen, long gone are the days now where you have to go in and you got to have a protein powder, you got to have your super greens, you got to have your probiotics, your adaptogens, your antioxidants. Kachava has blended it all together in one. It gives you everything that your body craves and you will feel your absolute best. And the good thing is they are delicious. They are absolutely beautiful. It's creamy, smooth, and it comes in 5 delicious flavors. They've got the chocolate, the vanilla, the chai, the matcha, and the coconut acai. Listen, as I said, before you had to have your protein. Well, this has 25 grams of plant protein per serving. And as I said, it's got the superfoods, it's got the greens, the proteins, the antioxidants, the adaptogens, and the probiotics. And let me tell you, you feel fantastic after this. I'm really noticing a difference in my recovery from lifting weights. It's really helping with the protein synthesis. You feel great afterwards. You are energized throughout the day. I'm going to the bathroom nice and regularly, and it looks good when it's coming out. Anyway, moving on from that because it's disgusting, but this stuff is fantastic. Get it all in one. Get all the goodness and all the vitamins, minerals, proteins that your body needs in one little scoop of Kachava, and you can get 10% off for a limited time. So right now, go to kachava.com, Kachava, kachava.com/believe. You'll get 10% off your first order. Kachava.com/believe. Oh shit! Right, let's have a proper conversation about something. It's a lot of McGregor, Zuckerberg, Luke Rockhold. We know he was calling out George St. Pierre for that grappling spot.
Oh yeah.
Now it looks like he's going to be grappling Craig Jones, as you guys like to say in America. Which
Craig.
Why is it Craig? Why is it Craig?
Why? What is it supposed to be?
Craig.
I don't know. Craig. I say
anyway,
Craig.
Whatever. Yeah. He's going up against Luke Rockhold and Craig Jones. And Craig Jones, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't follow the grappling world, he's like renowned currently as the number one guy right now, right?
No, he's two or three. It's like Nicky Rod.
Who would be number one?
Gordon Ryan.
Oh, Gordon Ryan. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was thinking
Gordon Ryan, Nicky Rod, and then probably Craig. There's 2 or 3 other guys that are like right there in that area. Either way, nothing against Luke. He's going to get smoked.
You think so?
Yeah. Won't even be close. The hardest part will be, the only competitive part will be when they're on their feet.
Yeah, that's right, because they don't have the best takedowns, generally jiu-jitsu guys, and they're not wrestlers. That's why Callum was able to win a world championship in jiu-jitsu, because he just took them all down with his wrestling and then stayed on top. And then there was people in the crowd just abusing him. This isn't jiu-jitsu. And he's like, well, tell him to stop me then. Yeah. Stop me lying on top of him.
Tell him about it.
I think Luke's going to do all right. Now, of course, I'm going to say that because I've got a victory over him. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. He's got a pretty good ground game. Saying that, hold on a minute. I rolled with him briefly for a few minutes at Ruka a couple of years ago, maybe now. And I hadn't done any jiu-jitsu in a long time. And I almost got him in a toe hold. So, all right. I take that back.
Well, it's just it's a different jiu-jitsu to MMA. Jiu-jitsu it's a different level. It's a different level.
Of course.
I think Luke and I would be pretty competitive. in jiu-jitsu. I think that we would have some fun rolls. Craig smokes me. It's not even close.
You've rolled with him?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, not even close. It's
right.
It's like the difference between real world champion level professional, like Aspinall, like Tom was talking about. Like jiu-jitsu is a part of what MMA fighters do, but professional competitive jiu-jitsu is a different level. So Luke will be okay for a little bit, but once Craig decides he's done fucking around, that'll be it.
Who was it that I saw John Jones rolling with recently? Was that Craig Jones or was it Gordon?
No, that was Gordon.
Yeah. See if you can pull up that video, Brian. It's John Jones and
they were
Gordon
just wrestling
Ryan.
around, like playing around.
They were wrestling around. Yeah, they were helping each other train a little bit or whatever, having a grapple. John Jones was doing pretty good in that regard. You didn't think so? He was doing pretty good here.
It looks like Craig's not trying. Or it looks like Gordon's not trying.
You can say no one's trying. Look, hits a takedown there. He gets up. Takedown again. Nice roll over there by Gordon. A bit of a Granby roll. They're just flowing. They're just flowing.
It's just it's so different. It's so different when they're actually like going. It's kind of scary, for being honest.
When I used to I'd go down to like the 10th Planet gyms sometimes, Eddie Bravo schools. There's one here in Orange near where I live, so I pop in there now and again. I would hate it. I would absolutely detest it because they have such a weird, awkward, funky style and this new style of jiu-jitsu. They're so flexible and they got the matching head to toe. The rash guards with like they got like dragons on and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're like Affliction t-shirts from 2008. Put on a rash guard, right, and they're head to toe. And John Danaher's at the back like the final boss in the game. And when I was doing jiu-jitsu with those guys, it's a very, a lot of leg locks, a lot of heel hooks. Yeah, I detested rolling with those guys.
It's okay. Put it this way. I know that when GSP was talking about coming back to do the grappling thing, he specifically, he trained with Danaher for a long time.
Yeah.
He specifically said, no professional grapplers. Not because he is afraid to lose, but because he doesn't want to get embarrassed. That's GSP saying that. He no
also
Gordon Ryan,
said,
no Nicky Rod, none of those guys.
He also said, and to be fair, and I kind of get it, he said that he wants somebody about his level in terms of MMA recognition. And you're probably right. You probably got a valid point there, to be fair. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to go against the top grapplers in the world because that's not what he's done.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't go compete against those guys. It's pointless.
Because George wanted someone, let's say, Nick Diaz, a Carlos Condit, someone from the MMA world that has a bit of cachet to where a lot of people are going to tune in and they can have their style. Because you're absolutely right. Professional jiu-jitsu against, there's not a professional league, but you know what I mean? Yeah. High-level competitive grapplers against an MMA style, it's very different, very different. So do you think, having taken that into account, do you think Luke's totally out of his mind and his ego's got the better of him here? Yeah, I do. I really do. If Craig decides he wants to have fun and just play around, then they can play the wrestling kind of Luke gets on top or whatever. And maybe they change the rules too. If they take out the leg locks, Luke will have that'll slow it down. That'll slow down the downhill spiral that he's going to be in. It'll slow it down a little bit if they take out the leg locks. But Craig, every time I've rolled with him, he's never touched my legs ever. He's more of a back take guy. So, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to say you're wrong. I'm going to say Luke Rockhold gets the job done. And what have we got on the line? We need a forfeit.
Oh, I will say anything you want. Literally anything you want.
A one-chip challenge?
Yeah. One-sided, one chip. Yeah.
Yeah. No way. No. I will never do that one-chip shit again. ever.
Terrible.
Anyway, all right. Well, listen, all the best to both guys.
It'll be fun. I'll tune in to watch it for sure.
Fair play to Rockhold. Now, listen, this is a segue and a half. That's why I got the belt. Chris Weidman's back in action this weekend, UFC 292, going up against Brad Tavares. Very excited for the return of Chris Weidman. Weidman, he was a great champion back in the day. He's a great fella. He's a great guy. I've got a lot of respect for him. His whole team. He's back taking on Brad Tavares. Last time was a couple of years ago, 2021. Went up against Uriah Hall. Broke the leg, which is crazy because we all know Anderson Silva broke the leg on him. He, if you had that in a movie, that one guy's going to break their leg.
Yeah.
And then later on, the opponent's going to break their leg. You would say that that's too far-fetched, and that's absolute nonsense. So he's back this weekend, and all the best to Chris Weidman and Brad Tavares. Great fight. But Harrington, in the essence or the spirit of leg breaks, there's been some pretty nasty leg break action going on over in Russia, correct?
Yeah, I believe the promotion is called ACF, and it was two heavyweights got into a grappling exchange along the cage, and it was sent to me by multiple people. It's one of the most brutal leg injuries I've ever seen in a cage.
Have you seen this, Anthony?
No.
Check this out.
Oh no!
No, go back to that bit, Brian. Just go back to that bit. You cut off it straight away. We watched the bad grappling.
Oh, it scared me. Oh my God.
Yeah, but I want to see it. We want to break it down. We want to pause it. We want to relish in disgust and horror. You're liking it.
Yeah.
Back it up a touch. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, it was not a great throw. It's the guy in the white and black shorts.
Oh! Press play. Press play.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh, I can't do it.
The poor guy. Does that give you flashbacks, Anthony? I mean, I know yours wasn't quite as extreme as that, but anytime you see anything like that, you're just like,
it just gives me the willies. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Leg breaks are terrible.
It's awful.
I was on that card when Weidman broke his leg.
Was you really?
Yeah, I fought right before that.
Hold on. Don't tell me Jimmy Crute.
I fought Jimmy Crute right before that. Yeah.
I've got your fight history down. I know what's going on. You talking of legs, you brutalized him with leg kicks, you son of a gun.
No, God damn it.
Those little calf kicks. So, leg breaks. I mean, what have we had in the UFC? So, Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva, Corey Hill,
Conor
McGregor, yourself. Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
I've got a stats here that I wrote down.
There's that one guy that Khalil Rountree oblique kicked that was pretty nasty too.
Modestas Bakauskas.
Yes, that was a pretty bad
he
one.
oblique kicked and pushed it backwards. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
Fighters who win by KO throw more leg kicks and land more at a much higher percentage
than people that don't.
People that don't. Yeah, interesting stat for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of working the body up and down. I guess if you mix up your target, give people further or more things to think about defending. That makes sense.
What do you think about Chris Weidman coming back against Brad Tavares? Because Brad Tavares back in the day, I mean, I know he had a pretty decent competitive fight with Izzy, if I'm not mistaken. He's had some good knockouts. He's got heavy power. It's a good comeback fight for Chris Weidman, I think.
Yeah, I agree. You know, how come you and Chris never ended up fighting? You guys were in the same division for so long.
Yeah, it's wild. We used to go at each other back in the day as well. We used to talk a little bit of shit, just healthy competitive stuff. I don't know. So when he fought, who did he fight? He fought Damian Maia.
On short notice.
Yeah, I was supposed to fight Chael Sonnen. No, I was supposed to fight Damian Maia.
Did you get hurt?
No. Someone was meant to fight Mark Munoz. Hold on. Who did I fought Chael Sonnen. Yeah, no, sorry. I was supposed to fight Damian Maia, right? Then Munoz, who was fighting Chael Sonnen, got injured. So they switched Maia to fight Chris Weidman. And then I fought Chael Sonnen on 2 weeks' notice instead.
Okay.
And then for whatever reason, I don't know, I was getting close to a title. I lost one. He became the champ. He defended a belt a few times. Basically, I never earned a title fight, and he was the champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
Well, anyways,
so,
I've thought that before, but Chris is by far, I've said this before, I'll say it again, is by far the best person I've ever trained with. But it's
really? Yeah.
It's not even close. I've never taken a round off Chris in anything. I've never won a striking round. Obviously, never out wrestled him, and we're pretty competitive in grappling. But I've never swept him. I've never tapped him. I've never. It's kind of a stalemate there. I've never passed his guard. Like, I mean, for whatever reason, it recently hasn't translated to his competitions. But when I trained with him, I wondered how he's ever lost to anybody. It just
really,
he's that good. And if he can bring 60 or 70% of that to the octagon, I think that he'll be just fine. But you're right, Brad Tavares is tough, and he's not afraid of anybody. He'll step right in the pocket. He's got heavy hands. And that fight, even though it's a loss to Duplessis, he was winning, the beginning of that fight and looking very, very good doing. And then you see what Duplessis was able to go on and do. I think that loss has aged really well for him.
I'm just looking at Chris Weidman's record because he was undefeated, until he lost to Luke Rockhold. Mm-hmm. Won the belt versus Anderson, rematched against Anderson, beat Lyoto Machida, absolutely destroyed Vitor Belfort. To be fair, it was the washed down, used teabag version of Vitor Belfort. Looked like a bloody heroin addict. Then he loses to Luke Rockhold.
He looked like an ice cream cone that was melting.
He looked like a used teabag. He did, like all withered and used, and like you pull him out the cup and say, "There's who you're fighting." You know what I mean? The used teabag version of Vitor Belfort. But it's crazy, man, because it's a shame because he lost to Luke, and that was a competitive fight until he threw that spinning back kick, right? And then Luke got on top. Lost to Yoel Romero again. It was a competitive fight.
He was winning that fight until he got knocked out.
It was very competitive, and then the flying knee from Yoel. Then he loses to Gegard Mousasi, and again, that was kind of shrouded in controversy because I think he was playing that game where you're touching the floor. Yeah, and he gets him with the knee, He wins against Kelvin Gastelum, which was a great win, went through some adversity in that one, and then comes back and gets the arm triangle. Gets knocked out against Jacare. Goes up to 205. Maybe that was Jacare was 205 as well. I'm not sure. Loses to Dominic Reyes, gets knocked out. Yeah. Beats Omar Akhmedov, and then breaks his leg. So it was like, because Chris Weidman, as I don't need to tell you, is a solid guy, man. Just an awesome human being, I find, because, we had our beef, we had our shit talk, but anytime we saw each other in person, we'd always laugh, shake hands, and show respect and things like that. So I wish him nothing but the best of luck this weekend because, hey, he's a legend. He was an incredible fighter, and he just kind of had a bad run of luck, if you will.
Some of it was luck. Some of it was his own doing, though. Like he's, I don't know how open he's been with it, like outward in the media and stuff. But I'll pull the curtain back. He was barely training. Apparently, like him and his wife were talking that like going into the Vitor fight, he only trained like 2 weeks for that fight. So like I think same thing with the Machida fight when he beat Machida. Like, he's the champion of the world. He beat Anderson Silva twice. And then, now he's beating these guys and he's barely trying. Like he's barely training to do it. So he starts convincing himself in his head, like, oh, well, I'm kind of pretty beat up. He's had a lot of injuries and a lot of surgeries. So, I'll just less is more. I'll just train smarter, not harder, which really means I'm going to train a whole lot less and still try to get the same results. Well, then, it goes into the Rockhold fight and it, kind of backfires on him, which throws him into this downward spiral where he kind of just messes up a bunch. But he seems to be back on the last. Even the Uriah Hall fight, it was really disappointing because we did most of that training camp together, and he was so fire. Like he was ready, and he really put the work in. And he said that was the first time he put that kind of work in since he was training for Anderson Silva.
No, man, that's a shame. But listen, so basically you're saying that he kind of was resting on his laurels. A
little bit.
And we see it a lot. Talented.
Did you ever have that problem?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Never once.
Because you're always like an open trainer, huh?
I was never that talented. Do you know what I mean?
See, that's my problem. I have to kill myself to even bring myself even.
Yeah. I was never that talented. I didn't have the most knockout power. I didn't have the best wrestling. I didn't have the best jiu-jitsu. I had a gas tank and I was game as fuck. So I was like, let's fucking get as ready because often I would be outmatched, but then you push such a pace and then they start slowing down. They start making mistakes. And then, unless you land the left hook Larry early in round one of Curtis Blaydes. It was like, I've never first round knocked anyone out in my life, and then in fucking on the ninth when it truly counts.
It really matters.
Oh, baby. Let's go.
That's how I am though. Like I have to work so damn hard just to put myself in a position to be competitive. I'm just not naturally talented. Like I got a little bit of power in my hands, but like, and my jiu-jitsu is okay, but I'm not a great wrestler, not a fantastic athlete. I just figure it out as I go.
When you look at mixed martial arts, I mean, you can think, let's see what we can think of right now. This is borderline insulting, but it's not. It's also giving them a great compliment as well, because talented people, and it's throughout all sports, the really uber talented people, they fall into that same trap. I think Quinton Rampage Jackson, he was one of them. He was so talented. He was so powerful, knockout power. He was just a dog. And he didn't like to trade, because he could get by with doing. And by the way, he trained his ass off for some of his fights because I was there. But he was quite open about that. I think BJ Penn, to a certain degree. Anyone who else can we think of?
Rashad has talked about it a little bit too.
Really? That makes sense.
It's really easy to be so talented and just know that you're so much better than everybody. I guess it would, I don't know. I guess it would be hard. Be like, well, I can do 50% of the work and still win. Like, I guess I don't know what that's like, but I can imagine that's got to be tough.
Well, that was always my thing. I just had to outwork everyone, And I think that's probably why I've got no knees to this goddamn day. How are your knees, Anthony? Any problems?
Fucking awful. Yeah, terrible. Really? Trashed, yeah.
Paul Felder texted me yesterday. He put it on his Instagram, so he's been very open about it. As we know, Paul Felder now does a lot of triathlons. And he's very, very good at it, by the way. He's not just doing triathlons. He's competing in triathlons, and I think I don't know what his accolades are, but he's very good. He's very competitive, and he's doing big things. His hip is destroyed. He's in agonizing pain. Went to the doctor. The doctor said, you've got the hips of an 80-year-old man. It's just pure bone on bone arthritis, just grinding away. So that's going to be a hip replacement for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. It is. Real shame. Rest up, Paul. Yeah, it is. It is. Early thoughts. We'll go in depth on Thursday, but Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley. What are your early thoughts on that fight, Anthony? Yeah, I seen a clip earlier. It was O'Malley saying life or death. He cannot let Aljamain Sterling get a hold of him. And I don't like that mindset for O'Malley. Like, yes, you don't want to end up in grappling exchanges. You don't want to end up wrestling with Aljamain Sterling, but like, this is a fight. You have to acknowledge and accept that it's probably going to happen. And I don't know. I just never liked the mindset of like, my goal and my game plan is that just can't happen. But what happens when it does? Like, you have to be able to at least be prepared enough to get back to your feet. I think that this fight is first guy that makes a mistake loses. So on a devil's avocado vibe, and I really bit my tongue there not to interrupt. And the reason being is that because I think of a point and then I had to remind myself what my point was 3 times. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to forget it. So life and death, he says he cannot allow Aljamain Sterling to get his hands on him. You say you don't like that approach, that mindset. One could argue on a devil's avocado vibe that that's just him being true and being honest and assessing the situation, because I kind of agree. I think if Aljamain, I just don't like that he feels. I just don't like that he feels like that. I totally agree too. I just think that's a realization of where their two skill sets are. I think Aljamain's tremendous at what he does. And I'm leaning towards him because of his skill set, because of his history, the form that he's on, and the way he out wrestled Henry Cejudo was so impressive. Sean O'Malley, I think he probably is at a major disadvantage. So he's got to use footwork, switching stances. He's got to dance around, circular movement, perpetual motion, lateral movement, use the range, use the reach, minimize kicks, lots of jabs, lots of 1-2s. But you got to do that. That's a frustrating way to fight. As a fighter inside yourself, you don't want to be avoiding the fight, right? So that kind of goes against your mindset as a fighter as well. But B, to do that consistently for 25 minutes, it's a very, very hard thing. And it will cause the crowd to start booing and shit like that as well.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask out of a fighter for sure. I don't know that. I always talk about that home run mentality where guys are swinging for the fences, and sometimes it's okay to hit singles and doubles, and across, through the entirety of a fight that usually tends to be a little bit more successful. But I agree that he needs to not get taken down. He needs to stay off the mat. He needs to not let Aljo get a hold of him. I just don't like that that's his thought, like that's what he's thinking about. Like, and maybe I'm just fucking talking myself in circles here, but what happens when he does? And the whole thing, he keeps saying, life or death, I can't get taken down. And then in the first minute, you end up on your back. Like, well, that tends to give you the mindset of, fuck. Well, life or death. I'm dead.
I think there may be a bit of gamesmanship there. I think there may be a bit of hype in the fight for pay-per-view sales. I think there's every eventuality that he's done all the homework, getting back to the feet and defending the back, which is primarily the attack that Aljamain is going to go for. I mean, who was it? He just had a victory against a very high-level grappler, a Japanese fella, on Submission Underground. He choked him out.
No, that was that quintet event that I was the captain.
Quintet, sorry.
Yeah, that was awesome.
What was that?
Did you see me? That was Gomi. Do you see me on the side losing my shit? Do you see me losing my? I was coaching him, and absolutely lost my mind. It was a super sneaky guillotine.
Yeah, So O'Malley's got those.
He's okay there. He's not bad on the ground.
That's my point entirely. So there's a bit of gamesmanship there. He's been doing jiu-jitsu for a very long time. But I do think that is kind of the top and bottom of the situation. Of course, we've got Zhang Weili in the strawweight division as well against Amanda Lemos. It's a good fight card. It's a bantamweight showcase. And then we got Marlon Vera, Pedro Munoz, and of course, we had to drop out from Cody Garbrandt. I hope Cody is all right. Should we? I know you haven't got too much time left because you're in training camp. Brian, it's the big moment for you, brother.
Oh man,
you've got jingles, you've got dingles. You're ready to mingles. What have we got this week in the debut episode? Brian's been working hard. Here we go.
I've been working anyway.
Oh, but not hard. He doesn't want to set the score too high. I just want to hear this jingle. I like it.
I love that.
I couldn't do that. If you said I'll give you $1,000 and you've got a week to do that, I wouldn't be able to do it.
I just give you the money.
I could change it. So every time it was very on theme for the topic today.
Yeah, but let's just have Brian's Conspiracy Corner. We don't need the whole, the old school black and white picture. And it's like an old police movies, and they got all the pictures on the thing, and then they got like the strings going to one thing. Where does this all lead to? We just need Brian's Conspiracy Corner.
All right,
or maybe I'm wrong.
I'll make it.
I'm down with it. What
have we got this week on Brian's Conspiracy Corner?
Okay, so this week I'm going to tell you about what happened in 1912 that led to the creation of the Federal Reserve that keeps us in wage slavery today. The owner of the Titanic, that was a man whose name was John Pierpont Morgan, J.P. Morgan. Yes, sir. He owned the International Mercantile Marine Company, which by extension owned the Titanic and its sister ship, the Olympia. He had booked a suite on its maiden voyage, and he just last minute didn't show up. It also happened to be that Isidore Strauss, Ben Guggenheim, and Jacob Astor, the other 3 richest men in the country at the moment, also booked trips on the Titanic. Then in 1913, the Federal Reserve was implemented. Now, you see this picture right here? You see this mark on the edge of it? Okay.
Is that the famous burn mark?
It is speculated to be a burn mark from a fire started on the inside of the ship. It just seems to me that the owner of the ship would want to show up on the maiden voyage of its ship, of his like prized possession, to show off. That's all you got. You just got money and chandeliers, and now they're all on a boat, and you're not going to get on that boat. That sounds a little sketchy to me. So all these dudes died.
Was JP Morgan for the creation of the Federal Reserve?
He was, of course he was. Everybody who founded one of these multinational banks that started in America at this point they're the people behind like the IMF and all that. I mean, the IMF came later, but like their lineage ended up being the Federal Reserve and the IMF.
What about the 3 people that died?
From what I understand, they were not for this because their money was all based in commodities and gold. So you get rid of the people who want your money to be backed by commodities and gold, and instead now it's booked back on the word of some financial institution that's neither federal or a reserve. They don't keep any money.
I mean, look, listen, it's an interesting theory, and I can't sit here and debate because I don't have the knowledge. However, a quick type into Google, which I did a second ago, there's obviously theories on both sides, and I've got one there that I'm not going to read out because you can probably just Google it yourself that debunks your theory. Yeah. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right.
I've seen all those too. The only thing that you can put a grain of salt in that kind of in anything that you hear about it, because so much time has passed that nobody has a first-hand account anymore. But it's a fun story, and it makes sense.
And well, the I just quickly saw there. So J.P. Morgan, apparently there's some law change, and he went off to France because he had millions and millions of dollars worth of antiques or something like that. Without reading the story, without just being a guy reading Wikipedia pages to you, because you can do that in your spare time.
There's 2 other really fun theories on it. One is that a mummy case cursed the ship, and that the other one is that it was actually the Olympic and not the Titanic.
Yeah. Because I looked it up.
There is a documentary that says that some of the details that on the Titanic sinking, they've kind of busted some of those myths. Like when it hit the iceberg, what they've always thought was that the tear in the side of the ship was however big it was. And then as they did the math now with like better technology, that if that's how big that hole would have been, or the hole that's in the Titanic now, if you go look at it, that it would have taken almost 3 times longer to actually sink. So for whatever reason, they think that the hole that's in the Titanic is not the only way that is not the only thing, like where they hit the iceberg is not the only thing that caused it to sink, because it would have taken significantly longer to sink had that been the only hole in the ship.
Another theory that it was also running guns to Europe because we were under embargo for the beginning of World War II.
Yeah,
World War I.
Just looking.
It's kind of a fun topic to get into. It really is.
Oh no, it is.
You start researching it.
I mean, it'd be fun if I don't know what it was.
There's a lot of deep rabbit
people
holes.
Didn't die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so this goes back into what you were saying before. I can't necessarily put it past this one dude to kill a bunch of people to get rid of his 3 rivals. The world is run by people who are able to do monstrous things.
Yeah, no, 100%. And there's been tyrants and evil people throughout history. But I'm just looking. There's so many conspiracies. One here regarding pack ice, and apparently each witness had a different description of the size of the ice. One was 60 feet, another one said 100 feet, so on and so forth. There's the Olympic exchange hypothesis done.
The mummy is my favorite one.
The mummies, that's going to be one of the best. Deliberately sunk. Closed watertight doors is another one. Expansion joint hypothesis, so on and so forth. I would have to read them to give a real opinion. Rebecca will. Have you seen the movie Titanic?
Oh yeah,
it's brilliant.
It's not a bad movie.
I think it's a great film. I think it's done very, very well.
Yeah.
Rebecca refuses to watch it. She's so sensitive like that. And she says she won't watch it. Well, there is that. That's not why. All modern movies are long. Why is it movies these days are 2.5 hours?
I don't know.
Just give me a good old-fashioned 90
And the
minutes.
modern music is shorter. Like most of the songs are 2 minutes long and the movies are 4 hours long. Like the new Avatar movie. God damn.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I ate when I got there.
Good?
And was hungry when it's fantastic. But it's 3 hours and 15 minutes long.
Case in point. Thank you for 3 hours, 15 minutes. That's a long time. You're going for a meal, as you say, you're starving by the time you come out. Rebecca won't watch it because it actually happened, because people actually die. So she gets too sad about it. And that's why I love watching movies. That's why I'm always throwing out the movie quotes. And I'm expecting one from Avatar from you in a second, Anthony. But a lot of war films, she won't watch them.
Yeah. That's kind of my favorite movies.
What, war films?
Yeah, I like military movies and war films, and
like Saving Private Ryan.
It's a great movie.
I've seen bits
one of my favorites. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
She will not sit down and let me watch the whole thing. I like Full Metal Jacket. That's a good one.
I haven't seen that one. I like Jarhead.
Oh.
It's a good one.
I haven't seen Jarhead. You've never seen Full Metal Jacket? Trust me. Do yourself a favor.
Gotta do that one. All right.
Gotta do it. It's fantastic. What's your favorite war film out of all of them?
Probably Saving Private Ryan. I think it's the one that makes you feel like it's the realest.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
As I say, there are no-go in this. I tell you what, I watched kind of recently. I thought it was done fantastically well. Hacksaw Ridge. You seen that one?
No.
Bro. Who is it? What's his name? The big tall guy. Vince Vaughn. I forget who else is in it. Hacksaw Ridge. Check that out. It's about some medic.
Watch these two.
It's a true story. Well, based on a true story, I'm sure. It's embellished to the max. He's a medic, and he goes out there because he wants to save people. And he's running in and out of the war zone, just carrying people out of the battlefields and stuff. It's a brilliant film. Absolutely fantastic. But still,
you'll have to text me those two.
All right, guys, Shopify are back sponsoring this episode. Listen, I've told you before, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a businessman or a woman, you have a business, you need to be on Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. So as I say, whatever it is, you need to be online. I say it all the time. That sounds time consuming. It sounds complicated. It sounds expensive, but not with Shopify. Shopify covers every sales channel, from an in-person POS system to the all-in-one e-commerce platform, and it even lets you sell across TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Packed with industry-leading tools to ignite your growth, Shopify gives you complete control over your business and your brand without having to learn any new skills in design or code. And thanks to 24/7 help and an extensive business library, Shopify is there to support your success every single step of the way. Instantly lets you accept all major payments method. And what's incredible to me about Shopify is how no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify is there to empower you with confidence and control to revolutionize your business and to take your business to the next level. I mean, what are you waiting for? Because this offer is ridiculous. Sign up for $1 per month, a trial period, $1 per month at shopify.com/believe. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/believe. Take your business to the next level today for a trial period of $1 per month. Shopify.com/believe. Harrington, Brian, I know you're going to get going in a second, right, Anthony? So I'll do questions by myself. Do we have anything breaking, anything that we didn't discuss, Harrington? Show yourself or forever hold your peace.
Sorry, I was just Googling to see if anything breaking happened while we've been recording.
Don't apologize.
I'm not seeing anything.
We talked about the rule change, the eye poke?
Yeah, that was the only other thing I had.
Oh, yeah.
I like the four-shot because we get to see. I'm telling you, I really like your thing, Harrington.
Yeah?
That is really, give us a four-shot, Bri.
That is awesome.
Doesn't that look cool?
It does look good.
Oh, yeah.
I like
I
that.
might just get rid of all this. The
I need a
objet
green
d'art,
screen.
the bits and bobs. And just get rid of it, and I get a bloody green screen. Anyway, break down the rule changes for me, please.
So it seems like it's two things both associated with fouls. So now if a fighter gets a cut as a result of a foul, legal knee, whatever the case may be, the cut man can now come in and work on that so that you're not dealing with the disadvantage of having a cut from a foul. The other one is if you get eye poked, you now have, I think it's up to 90 seconds, and they can administer a cold compress to the eye before they have a doctor come in and be like, hey, can you see? And the idea behind the ruling is nobody can see right after you get poked in the eye. You just got poked in the eye. So give it some time for the swelling to go down before you call off a fight.
Well, yeah, no, because they recently changed it as well to 5 minutes for an eye poke, because it was 5 minutes for a nut shot. Now it's 5 minutes for an eye poke as well. So, Harrington, just let me clarify this, because it is important, because eye pokes are so prevalent these days and they're happening all the time. And I don't think people, even John Jones, I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I really don't. But you can do way more damage with a punch than, I don't think, right? Do you agree?
Poke an eye, you can punch a face.
No one's actively going, well, what I'm going to do is here. I'm going to poke him in the eye. Now, some people with the fingers out, that drives me crazy, because even in the training room, I don't want to shoot at someone that's got the hands like that.
Right.
I don't like this rule where you're going to have them up, because all they're going to do is that. They should have half clenched. Do you agree?
Which I think is, I totally agree. I don't think that anyone's doing it on purpose. But I also, I can't fight like this, just half close your hands, just relax. Like, it takes
that's a
work.
natural position.
Yeah, it takes work to hold them open. So if you're trying to do it like this, it's hard. If you they're naturally like this. So just leave them like that. Just close your hands.
So Harrington, so now before the 5 minute timer starts, they get 90 seconds. Someone will come in and give a cold compress before a doctor starts asking them difficult questions.
Yes, I believe the wording of the rule says that's at the referee's discretion. So it's not mandatory now that somebody comes in and puts an ice pack every time there's like a glancing blow to the eye. Yeah. But if it seems real bad, he can call for that.
Yeah, well, it makes sense.
Yeah. I like that they can work on the cut now too, because it sucks. Like you get an accidental headbutt, and you end up real cut over your eyebrow. Well, now you're like, to continue fighting. I mean, like, you want to keep fighting, but all they do is they just wipe it off. They check the cut and then they leave. Like, if you can let a cut man come in, let's pack that thing with some Vaseline. Let's get some work on it. Get it stop bleeding. That mitigates that advantage just a little bit.
Yeah, without question.
That's fair. I can't believe we couldn't do that before.
It's kind of silly, but that's the way it is. We inherited the rule set to a certain degree from boxing, so they're making tweaks along the way. I think it's a positive sign. Hopefully, many, many more to come. But all right,
I'm gonna get out of here.
I'm gonna let you go. You got a fight to train for.
I do.
Thursday, we're going to hopefully do one nice and early. But Anthony, appreciate your time, buddy.
Yeah.
Enjoy the last week of training, because the last week of training is the most satisfying, but it's also the most grueling. And come Friday, you're just like, thank God.
All right. I'll see you guys later on this week.
Well, leave me with Harrington and Brian.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you bloody should be. Anyway, Harrington, jump on the screen, buddy.
What's up?
Look at that. I do like that background. All right. So if you have any questions, please send them into bympod@gmail.com. You know the drill by now. Send them in. Let's go.
And if you're listening on Spotify or any other platform that you might listen to podcasts on, make sure you leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps us out, on whatever platform that may be. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the show and hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new episode comes out. And if you want to catch over 400 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM30 in the month of August to get a 30-day free trial.
Also, sorry, Brian, just want to touch on this point you put here in the news, Harrington. Sao Paulo in November. Main event's going to be rising heavyweight prospect Jailton Almeida taking on Curtis Blaydes. Listen, I'll be there for that one. I'm going down to Sao Paulo. I think it's stylistically for both men. a really troubling fight. Jailton Almeida, if I'm not mistaken, undefeated, running roughshod through the heavyweight division right now. Primarily uses his wrestling. Came from the Contender Series, right? Big guy, strong guy, great grappling. What does Curtis Blaydes do? He's a hell of a grappler as well, hell of a wrestler as well, with heavy hands. That's a really interesting matchup, that, because Curtis Blaydes, has he fought again since Tom Aspinall? I don't believe so.
Pavlovich, right? I believe.
Oh, shit, that's right. Of course, yeah. Got knocked out pretty quick, like everyone does. I see. So that's kind of like a rebuilding one for him. And for Jailton Almeida, being Brazilian, and kind of like he could be a problem for Tom Aspinall, for a lot of people, for whoever the champ is at the time. That's an interesting matchmaking there.
It's super cool to me. Like, when I saw that come across my feed, my first thought was like, how deep is heavyweight now? Like, for years, it was just Cain Velasquez, JDS, you know, some pride guys who were cycling in, and then Stipe. Now it's like that whole top 10 is rounded out and looks absolutely dangerous from top to bottom. I love to see it.
Yeah, well, it's certainly in the best position it's ever been in. I mean, John Jones being at the top of that. I mean, he's got the most high-profile champion they could dream of. Sergey Pavlovich at 1, Cyril Gane, Stipe, Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blaydes, tied to Avasa, Spivak, Volkov, Almeida, Derek Lewis, Ty Bora, Rosenstruik, Alexander Romanov, Chris Daukus, Rogerio De Lima. Yeah, some decent names in there. Certainly a lot of talent as well, because it used to be back in the day, some of the heavyweights, let's be honest, they weren't the best. They kind of sucked. They were out of shape. They were big, strong, powerful men, you know. And then you get some guys that come around every now and again that are incredibly talented. But to have a top 10 with a lot of good names on, with a lot of people that are well-rounded, yeah, good to see. Anyway, right, Bri, question time, buddy. What have we got?
All right, first question we have here is from Derek.
Hey, BYN podcast. I got a question about the lightweight rankings. So, since RDA is moving up, who do you think should take the 15th spot? I think it should be either Dober or Patty to set up the Frivola fight. And for Dober, since he was ranked before Frivola, and love the podcast, and I hope Smith can open a big can of whoop ass on Span in Singapore.
Well, thank you, Derek. That's very kind. And we all appreciate and we all feel the same about Anthony in Singapore. He's very timid because you're speaking so gently. I couldn't really get what he was asking. I know it had something to do, and I'm sorry to make fun. I'm only having a laugh, Derek. It was something to do with RDA moving up. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm like, RDA's been at welterweight for a long bloody time. What's going on?
So I think his last couple of fights were at lightweight. I know the Barberino fight was at 170 for sure, and that was his last one, but he was still ranked in the lightweight
Luque
heading
was
into
welterweight.
Yeah.
Right. He was. Okay. So that's his point. Anyway, so RDA is in the lightweight rankings, and I'm just looking at the rankings right now. And yeah, no, he's absolutely right. He's in there at number 8. Interesting. So who should be the next guy? Because he's right. He shouldn't really be there. He should be at 170. So fair play, Derek. And I really, really appreciate the voice question. Thank you. No, shout out, brother. Hope you're well. People, not Paddy. I don't think so.
I don't
Not
think
that I've been. He hasn't been active. It's been best part of a year almost. Drew Doe. What about Matt Frivola?
Matt Frivola is in, I think, at 14.
You are correct.
And they did already fill that spot. They gave it to Diego Ferreira, which I think is that's definitely a safe pick. I mean, he's been ranked before. He's consistently like one of those fringe 15 to 10 guys somewhere in there. But there are a lot of guys unranked in the in that division. I'm trying to remember. There was somebody on the Nashville card where I was like, how does this guy not have a number next to his name? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, lightweight is insane. It really is. It's by far the most stacked division. Bantamweight's right behind it, though. I'm just looking at the rankings, and I'm seeing Leon Edwards' face because he's next to Islam Makhachev. And I'm going to mention Colby Covington will be joining us hopefully on Thursday's show. If not, if you can't do Thursday because of his schedule, I'll do a pre-record and drop it on the channel anyway. He was supposed to join today, but me being a knucklehead and having family in town, I never nailed down a time. So Colby versus Leon, though. That should be going down in Madison Square Garden alongside John Jones and Stipe Miocic, which you got to think that's going to be a big pay-per-view, that. But, you know, John Jones, Stipe, greatest heavyweight fighter of all time, Colby Covington, mastermind promoter, Leon Edwards, the welterweight king, and no doubt a bunch of great talent as well. I mean, that's going to be... Do you reckon that could break 1 million pay-per-view buys?
I mean, we've seen Colby. Colby did 1 million against in the second Kamaru fight, I believe. If not, he came very, very close to it. Yeah, I mean, with Leon Edwards on the card, I know you've done a pretty big number at one point in your career, and certainly having the entire UK behind you does help. Yeah, why not? I mean, if you have 2 title fights on that card, why not?
Well, the reality is Leon's going to make a shit ton of money if he does. So fair play to him. What else we got, Brian?
All right, so we got another question here from Jacob Zakowski.
Plus, sorry, I got hyped.
No, you go. No, I need the plus.
The fact that you're going to have Colby Covington and John Jones at the same press conference stages, that right there gets you to 1 million pay-per-views. I do think so.
Bro, that could be the most watched press conference because I just want to see the backstage footage.
Right?
Do you know what I mean? Because, look, listen, Colby is a madman. He does not give a damn. He is throwing it. He's going hard at John Jones, man. The stuff that he's been saying, and then you got to stand backstage with him. You know what I mean? And Jones is like, you little shit. You know? Anyway, give me the question, Bri.
Yo, what up, BYM Pod? Jake here from Pennsylvania. I know I haven't sent a question in, but I got one for you. So when you're in training camp, how does the training sessions change from like week 3 to the week before the fight?
All right. Well, thank you, Jay. Thanks for the question. Pennsylvania. Philadelphia. Where's Philadelphia? Is that Pittsburgh?
No, Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh and Philly are both in Pennsylvania, but it's like 4 hours from each other.
I'll be in Philadelphia this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, at the Live or Live. I don't know how you say it. It's one of them, LIVE, the Live Casino. I'll be doing a watch party. I'll be watching the fights. I'll be shaking hands, kissing babies, signing tits. You name it. I'll be doing it. Get yourself down to Philadelphia to the Live Casino, whichever one it is. All right, so training camps. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a much more scientific approach to them these days in terms of, peaking at the correct time. That's what you want to do. You want to be in peak physical performance by the time you get to the fight. So it all depends on how long you have and how far away from peak physical fitness you are. So it's kind of how long is a piece of string. There's a different kind of strategy for every person because no one fighter or fight camp, condition, weight, all the rest of it is the same. And that's what you're going to look into. You're going to look into how far overweight are you? How much fat do you have to lose? And things like that. You got to look at your opponent as well and kind of develop a strategy for that. You might be going up against this takedown artist, so you want to improve your strength. You want to be doing a lot of deadlift and things like that because this guy's really strong and he's going to look to take you down. You might have great jiu-jitsu, so you're going to do all that side of things, bringing top grapplers. But generally, you have your, what do they call it? You have your different days, your green, amber and red days. Do you know what I'm saying? So you kind of work with a strength and conditioning coach and you work on that side of things and you kind of plan it out, and some weeks you'll have, and you build in the intensity, then you'll have an easy week to recover halfway through training camp, things like that. But yeah, as I say, there's no set hard and fast rule because it's based on the individual, and where they're at. But yeah, it's a good question. But if I was in training camp or if I was training now, I can tell you about my strategy, but I'm not, and it's been a long time, and I'm overweight, I'm out of shape, and you don't want to hear it because do you want to hear about my training camp schedule for when I was fighting George St. Pierre? Balls to the wall. Let's go all day, every day. That was it. And I always said I was never going to, because I always overtrain, like Anthony said, when I beat Luke Rockhold for the belt, I'm like, I'm never overtraining again. But I did. Consistently every time. Because
you did it for the Henderson fight too?
I did it for the Henderson, pushed myself to the bloody limit all day, every day. And that's mental weakness. It is. It is, as Perillo says, it takes confidence to take a day off. But also at the same time, you're like, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to go for a gentle jog. And that turns into running through Ralph's car parks, scaring the life out of housewives. They're like, what is he doing? He looks like he's running from the police. Anyway, do we got one more, Brian?
Yes, we do have one more question, but you guys kind of already hit on it. It's but you know, we're gonna watch this one for the visuals.
Oh, hi.
I had another question. Do you guys still like going to the movies? This is for all of you, all four of you. And if you do, what's your favorite kind of movie or movie genres to see in theaters? And if you a real one, what's your favorite food to sneak in? I carry a big ass purse and I take it in and out. I don't fuck around. But I'm curious to see what your guys' answers are. And if I can make one little tiny request, can you guys please bring Wonder Boy back onto the show? He's so fucking cute. I love him.
We all love Wonder Boy. Oh, Harrington. Harrington's in a trance.
Yeah, she said bye. I had to say goodbye to her as well.
It was my volume was extremely low. I struggled to hear most of the question. Do we still go to the movie? Just to recap, what's our favorite kind of movie? Do we sneak snacks in? And can we get Wonder Boy back on? Harrington, do you still go to the movies?
Yeah, every now and then.
I haven't been to the movies in a long time. I'm not against it. Rebecca doesn't like to do that. It's hard enough getting her to watch films at home, let alone at the movie theater, especially when the one by our house was closed down. And she always says, like I said before, the 2.5 hours, the 3.5 hours. She's like, no, I can't do that. Her main thing is that it's always freezing. The air conditioning is blazing. She's like, it's freezing. I don't want to sit there for that long. But I do want to go and see Oppenheimer.
I do too. It? I have not. There's so what I find really cool about this movie is there's apparently only like 20 theaters in the whole country that show it like the way it's meant to be seen. You know what I mean? Like shot on like the 8K IMAX cameras, and it gets like the whole floor to ceiling. And they have one in New York City, like right in Lincoln Square. And I'm so hyped for it, dude. I want to see this bomb on the big screen.
Yeah. No, I think I might do that. I do want to see it. What else were the other questions? Favorite snacks to sneak in? I don't go to the movies hungry. Simple as that. I'm already full. I normally go out for dinner first. Okay. You know, I'll go for a meal first. Nothing fancy. You know, just you go out for something to eat. And then, listen, I'm not a popcorn guy. I like sweets. What do you guys have over here? So in England, I go for pick and mix. It's just like, pick and mix, man. It's great. You don't get pick and mix out here. I fucking love a good pick and mix. Like chocolate mice. Oh. No, it's just like a bunch of different like penny sweets they used to be called in England. And you can just pick and mix them and put them in a thing. You know what I mean? Cola bottles, fizzy cola bottles. You know, I don't know what the names are. You've probably got very similar things, but I would always go for chocolate and stuff like that. Maltesers. Oh. Now we're talking popcorn. Not a fan.
You ever do Alamo Drafthouse?
No, what is that? It sounds like a beer.
No, so it's like a restaurant and movie theater combined. So they'll bring out like legitimate dishes, and you can get alcohol right to your seat and like order pretty much anything. That might be the best of both worlds.
Yeah, no, I've certainly been in those places that do that. I went to one at the O2 Arena when I fought Anderson Silva. I forget what the film was, that was very forgettable. But the food was good. And Wonder Boy's welcome on it anytime. Okay. And a lot of people hate us for our stance last week. I love Wonder Boy as much as our friend does there. So thank you very, very much. Right. I think that's it. I think that's the show. Anything else? Someone just popped on here. Who's that? AJ Dobson. He had a good fight, didn't he, against Stefan Chukwi?
I love that all 4 bonuses this week were on the prelims. It's one of those things where it's like every now and then it's like, yo, you can't miss the early stuff because the early stuff is awesome.
No, 100%. That's the show, guys and girls. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done so. And we'll be back on Thursday.